Hi everyone, this is Attorney Lilian, and I am here today with your Tuesday tip. So today, I want to talk to you about who U.S. citizens can file for. This topic is coming up again because I've had so many of my clients become citizens and have this question. They want to know, who can I file for and what is the process? So I thought I will do a video just talking about that. And if you have any questions, as always, put them in the comments. I do go back and look at those. The second group is their children. Okay. And children are broken into three categories, right? There's children that are under 21 and unmarried. Those are considered immediate relatives, just like children, just like spouses of U.S. citizens. Children of U.S. citizens that are under 21 and unmarried are considered immediate relatives. So the and unmarried part is really important. Okay, you need to pay attention to that, because once a child gets married, even if they're 18 years old and they get married, they are no longer considered a child for immediate relative purposes. Okay, so now they go into a different category. So, like I said, first category is under 21 and unmarried. Second category is over 21 and unmarried. And the third category is married children. Okay? Those are how USCIS breaks it down. That's how the State Department breaks it down. Okay? The timing of how long is it going to take to bring the child to the US is determined by which category they fall into. And that's where it really matters, because sometimes people will ask me, oh, can I file for my children? The answer is always yes, you can file for them. The question becomes, how long is it going to take, right? If they are still under 21 and are married, that is the quickest route for children of U.S. citizens to get to the U.S. and get their green card. The second fastest is over 21 but unmarried. The second you get married, there's less visas available, which means there's a huge backlog. But what I tell everyone is, if you have a child that's over 21, that's married, right? You're not just filing for them. Right? They're no longer considered immediate relatives, which means when they get a visa to the US, their children, if they decide to have any, and their spouse, if they're still married at the time, would also be able to get a visa. Okay? Their children that are under 21 and their spouse will be able to get a visa with them. So now you're not just filing for your son or your daughter or your child, you're also able to then have your grandchildren and your child's spouse also be able to enter the US from filing one application. So instead of looking at the number of years it's going to take, and it does, I'm not going to lie to you, it takes time. Okay, it can take over 10 years for a married child of a U.S. citizen to get a visa to the U.S. But just know, if they are able to get that visa and they have children that are under 21, their children can come with them, follow to join, and now the entire family is able to benefit from that one application. So, needless to say, if that is the situation you're in and you're just wondering if it's even worth it, think about it in that sense, that it's not just one person. It's, if they decide to have children, if they decide to get married, they can come with their family, not just your child coming. Okay? You are basically looking out for their future. think about it that way and don't just look at how long in years it's going to take. Just think about, how's their life going to change in 10 years? Will this still benefit them? Yes, most definitely go ahead and file. Okay, so we talked about spouses, we talked about children. Now let's talk about parents, right? That's the next category of people that U.S. citizens can file for. So U.S. citizens can file for their biological parents and their step parents and their adoptive parents. Now, if a U.S. citizen is adopted, legally adopted, their birth parents, their biological parents, will no longer have rights under immigration law. So once the child, that's now a U.S. citizen, is adopted, legally adopted, their parents, now their adoptive parents, are their parents for immigration purposes. Their birth parents cannot benefit from any immigration filing that the child does. Okay, so that's why I break it into that 3 categories. So their step parents, biological parents, and adoptive parents. Those are the ones that can benefit, but an adoptive parent and a biological parent cannot get that. Okay, so once you give up your rights or you lose your rights through adoption, your child can no longer file for you. So keep that in mind as you're making decisions or trying to figure out if you can file for a specific family member. Just know that's just the rules. I know there are open adoptions where the adopted child knows who their birth parents are. Unfortunately, even though they have that relationship, legally they do not have a parent-child relationship to get benefits. Okay, so step parents can also get benefits from their stepchild that's now a U.S. citizen, as long as the marriage that created that step-parent-stepchild relationship took place before the child turned 18. So if you are the step parent and you got married to the biological parent when the child was 16, right? Even though now the child is 21 and living their life, they can still file for you as the step parent, okay? Because that's just the requirements. That's it, right? So just pay attention to that as well, okay? U.S. citizen children can file for their step parents as long as the marriage that created that relationship took place before the U.S. citizen child turned 18. If it's the day after their 18th birthday that you got married, unfortunately, it no longer counts for immigration purposes. If it's the day before their 18th birthday, it counts. So that's just how immigration looks at it. It's a very fine line. It's either you're 18 and over or you're under 18. Okay, and you need to be under 18 for it to count. And you have to show, if let's say the step parent and the biological parents are no longer married, so they've gotten a divorce or there's death in the family, the step parent can still get benefits from the stepchild if they have maintained a relationship. So that's something else to keep in mind, is that even if the biological parent is no longer married to the step parent, that step parent stepchild relationship that was created is still there, right? You can still get immigration benefits from that, but you have to maintain that relationship and you have to show that you have maintained that relationship. Okay, so again, U.S. citizen children can file for their parents, their step parents, and their adoptive parents. One thing to keep in mind is that in order for a U.S. citizen child to file for a parent, they have to be 21. Okay, so anyone can become a U.S. citizen at 18, right? You can file for You can file at 18 to become a U.S. citizen. However, you cannot file for a parent until you're 21. But you can file for a spouse, you can file for your children at any age, right? So as long as you're 18, you're a U.S. citizen, you can file for your spouse, you can file for your children, but you cannot file for your parents until you're 21. Again, that's just the rules, okay? I don't make them. And I have people that are just like, oh, my child is 19 right now. What do I do? You just have to wait, right? That there's really nothing they can do. Your child can't file for you. It's not their fault, right? It's not because they don't want to file for you. It's just the way the law is written is very black and white, right? Must be 21. And if they're 19, you still have 2 years to go. Okay, on their 21st birthday, you can put in that application. Okay, that's just something to keep in mind. But today, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. And if you like this video, go ahead and share it. If you know someone who needs to hear this, go ahead and share the video with them. If you like what I'm talking about, like the video. And if you're watching in a place that you can subscribe and you do not want to miss any of my uploads, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And I am Lilian Chukura. I am the lawyer and owner of Lillylegal, where we help our clients get status for themselves and for their family using the U.S. immigration law system. Thank you. Bye.